Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawada, coming back as you read this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here quick little article real fast, dealing with the mark of the beast. But nevertheless, as we've been telling you under this so-called COVID pandemic, this is their reason to push out this here chip, because they need to be able to track your health records and so on and so forth, because they need it in real time to know if you got the COVID situation, quote unquote, But nevertheless, I'm going to just read a little bit of this here article. It says, plans for any new pan-European ID system are doomed to fail due to massive costs and public concerns over data privacy. All right, so which you have to understand how these devils work, man. All right, when they want to push something, they put it out there in the limelight and kind of attack it. They'll show all the flaws here and there, so people will be like, sounds like a good idea, but what about this problem and that problem, this problem and that problem? And they'll reach out like, well, how can we improve it, And what you'll see in this here article, they're like, well, we already got these cards. Like I know here in Florida, because in 2008, George Bush passed a law with the biometric system, all right, where you had a new smart IDs. Like here in Florida, we have the new driver's license. I'm pretty sure everybody have them by now, but they have this little chip inside of there, nevertheless. But, people will say, hey, we need, a better system. Like they're saying is, hey, well, we got these new ID cards, like they also have in the passports, but what happens if you lose that? It's going to cause a big concern, or so on and so forth, So nevertheless, what are they going to say? Hey, well, we'll just attach it to you. All right. So let's say, let me read this again. Plans for any new pan-European ID system are doomed to fail due to massive costs and public concerns over data privacy. And the EU is basically, all those European nations that's in the EU now. All right. Let me see. Where is it at? All right, let me just start here. It says, for the commission boss to pretend that this is some brilliant new idea is a bit rich. The suggestion of an EU identity scheme, previously expected to be a card of some sort, has been floating around for ages. And in terms of practicality, it's something many members of the member states can understand as they use this form of ID every day. So as you can see, they already have the ID, basically these chips in these cards, or in their passport or whatever, whatnot. And they say, hey, this ain't no new idea. We've been had these ideas out. We've been testing these things and so on and so forth, but the privacy concern is a bit flawed and not everybody's on board with it. But the thing is problem, reaction, solution. They want to push the chip, all right? They're going to give you a problem. Hey, we need to be able to identify people or COVID or whatever, whatnot. All right. But then all of a sudden you have, well, what happens if you lose the card or whatever, whatnot, and all your information's on there? Then you got to go through the situation to get a new card. Well, the reaction, that would be the reaction. The solution would be the chip. All right. It says, while the chips and cards and passports turn them into secure biometric identification, biometrics is a compound word, bio meaning of life, metrics, it's measurements of life, your heartbeat, health records, and everything like that, just like you have those Fitbit watches and those Apple watches that can tell you about your sleep and your heart rate monitor and all those things. That's basically a biometric, device. It says, and while the chips in the cards and passports turn them into a secure biometric identification document, these days adding further information to any EU ID system can allow debits from a bank account, access your taxation records, and store your health data is a big step. It's a big step. But nevertheless, we know about this in the scriptures, You're not going to be able to buy or sell save he that have the mark. And as time's been going on, we've been, bringing out, it's more than just you being able to go in a store and buying and selling, It's more or less a authentication token, all right? Now, as you can see, you can't go inside the store unless you got a mask on, right? You see what I'm saying? You're not going to be, how do we know you don't got the COVID or whatever, whatnot, Or with these new smart homes, there's new smart door locks and smart cars with the push button starts. As long as you have that chip or whatever inside your key fob, you can get in. Now, you got all these little different devices and so on and so forth. Your cell phone got the fingerprint identity, the facial recognition. All this is feeding data. But nevertheless, you're going to be able to access all these things by having this authentication token implanted in your body, whether you want to go inside the store. We've seen commercials about this years ago. I think it was Amazon or somebody. They, maybe 6-7 years ago, to show this guy, the sketchy looking Edomite walking in with a trench coat Mafia walking in the store. He walks in and starts picking up stuff, putting it inside his jacket. He walks out the store. The cop stops him as if he was stealing something, and then all of a sudden he hands him his receipt. It says, let me just jump down. It says, it says, I said in the European Parliament presentation from a Latvian tech outfit that had successfully rolled out a new generation of ID cards to the small nation a few years back. They plan to issue a card to every Latvian adult, about 1 million at a time, which would add increased functionality such as storing health records and bank details. This would allow people to go about their daily lives without a wallet or a purse, stuffed full of assorted but essential cards. In which, hey, people ain't really complaining about that now. You know, if you got too many damn cards, stop applying for credit cards and shit, man. All right, all clever stuff. Everyone agreed except the passport-proud Brits who asked, what about the privacy issues? The businessman, again, you know, if they implant it in you, you know, somebody can't steal your card or whatever, whatnot. The businessman, which is what they were, shrugged off any worries because the Latvian government could really be trusted to protect that data. Really. Other nationalities present were not sure of their own situation. This was before most people had become aware of the marketability of personal data and how it was widely abused for commercial reasons. Google, Facebook, Twitter, and others were still growing, and Cambridge Analytica was just a twinkle in Steve Bannon's eye. But there were suspicions, especially with very personal health data, that somehow it could fall into the wrong hands, and the holder of the clever ID card will come off as second best. See, they keep pushing this ID card, the ID card, the ID card, but then they keep showing you all the flaws. So there's some quote unquote some genius like, well, why don't you just implant it inside the person? You know. It says discussions followed about insurance companies hovering up data legally or illegally in individuals to create bespoke products that have premiums tailored to specific lifestyle choices, way beyond the user's smoker, non-smoker, drinker, non-drinker options. Let me see. Where was something else I wanted to get at? I think it was further up, but nevertheless, we'll just jump into some scriptures. There was something else that they wound up saying in that passage or whatever, whatnot. But nevertheless, I want to just go into the scriptures, all right? Because we know about this here RFID chip being the mark of the beast, all right? It's clear as day that this is what it is. But nevertheless, as they were saying, you know, all these different cards in your wallet, you don't have to carry them all or whatever, whatnot, right? Revelation 13 and 16, it says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, all right? Now, for the time being right now, let's just think about this as those ID cards, right? You know, or your health record cards. You can't go to the doctor if you don't have this here card, you know? Can't drive a car unless you have these new smart IDs or whatever, whatnot, you know? All these different cards or whatever, whatnot, you know? But as you can see also with the face mask, you can't go inside the store, you know what I'm saying, without the face mask. So now they're giving you all these different requirements for you to be able to function in society, right? But then people are like, damn, I done forgot my damn face mask. You know how people done drove all the way up to the store, forgot their face mask, can't even go in the store or whatever, whatnot, or go to a certain building or whatever, whatnot, don't even have their card to get in or whatever, whatnot, because they forgot about it or somebody stole this or they moved that. So all of a sudden, it's like, you know what, if we had this implanted in us, if we had a wearable device, then it'd be all good, you know? So continuing on, it says, verse 17, and no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, the point that I wanted to bring out this here article and read this here scripture was for the fact of, you know, they kept talking about these different cards and all these, you know, the problems with having all these cards. You could lose them. You got to carry them all around. You got your wallet full of them and everything like that, you know? So if you read Revelation 16 through 18, you see that there's going to have to be some type of, again, I'll call it an authentication token, so you can be able to go inside stores, so you can pay your rent, turn your lights on, start your car up, open your house doors, and all these different things. Go to the hospital, get treatment, you know, so on. Go to work, really, if you know, how do we know you real-time COVID tested? Look at how they doing the NBA. You got to stay inside the bubble. You got to have these wearable rings to be able to check you real live time, whatever, whatnot, but they still give you COVID testing, you know? So going into this here word mark, all right, we always go into this, but hey, look how much more important it is to go into now than any other time before. So word mark goes into the word charagma, which means a stamped, imprinted mark, a mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. All right, and that word Antichrist is basically going against, you know, basically the Lord's will, you know. They tell you to do this or do that, but then what the system, like, for one, they tell you not to be a homosexual or whatever, whatnot. What does this nation promote? All right, being a homosexual and homosexuality. It says a mark branded upon horses, a thing carved, sculpture, graven work, idolatrous image, right? So going into these things, let me read the next one. It says, A mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work, an idolatrous image. A scratch, etching, a stamp, a badge of servitude, or sculpture, figure, graven mark. So going into these here things, you see this is a graven image, something that's, how do you say, you know, back in the older days, they had what they call like cuneiform and things like that. They would mark things down and take records of certain things. Nowadays, they have it with your so-called computer records and your history and your profile. You can go on Google and look up your Google profile and look at all the sites you visited, this, and that. This is how they get these algorithms to come up with suggestions to sell you or whatever, whatnot, you know? But nevertheless, let me go further into this thing. It says a scratch, an etching, a stamp, a badge of servitude, or a sculptured figure, statue, or graven mark. Now let's go further into this here word. Going into the root word, it's karax, which means, or from karaxo, to sharpen to a point, akin to the idea of scratching, a pill or a stake, a palisade. All right. So going into this here thing, let me read the Strong's definition. To sharpen to a point through the idea of scratching, a stake, a palisade or rampart, military mound, or nevertheless, the point is to sharpen to a point through the idea of scratching or a stake, right, or a palisade, right? Now, going into these things, this is going into the root word. Now, going back to the first, it was a mark or a graven image placed upon, you know, people that, you know, you serving the government, more or less, say the Antichrist system, all right? This here mark is going to be put onto you through what? Through something that was sharpened to a point, or like a stake or a palisade, right? All right, which is going into what? That syringe they're going to take to put that RFID chip inside of you, all right? So nevertheless, let me go down to this as well, too, because it goes further into this, right? All right, this is Psi Sigma, all right? Where's the word at? All right, going further into this here word, from the primary stizo, to stick or prick. Now, remember, these are the words, the definitions of these are the words, right? So it's a mark that's graven or etched with your information on there, all right? It's going to be put into you through the idea of a scratching or etching, or by a pill or a stake, all right? And it says primary stizo, or stick, or to prick. Like when you go to the doctor, you get a shot, they prick you with that needle, right? It says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. So how are they going to put this here identification mark inside of you, this tracking device inside of you, right? Through the idea of a stake or a pail, something that's sharpened to a point, and they're going to stick you with it and inject it inside the body. All right, and it's going to be a mark of servitude. You're serving the system properly and in order, the way that they want, you know? As you can see, whenever you go inside your local grocery stores or whatever, whatnot, everybody wearing a mask, all right? You see that they're all compliant with what the government is saying, you know? Not saying that you should be going out there being a damn, you know, a rebel right now. Now, I ain't going to the grocery store with no mask on or whatever, whatnot. Hey, we're not to the point. Hey, you're not supposed to take this here chip, all right? But these are the stages just getting into that chip, all right? But nevertheless, it says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To the ancient Orient usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their body to indicate what master or general they belong to. So going back up to this, now when it says soldiers, right? When you go and talk to a lot of these people in the military, a lot of them already got chips in them already, all right? So they can be able to find you if you ever get lost or something like that, or if you wind up dying in the battlefield and they got to come back and try to find your body or whatever, whatnot, you know, because they say no man left behind. We're going to recover every dead body, all right? But nevertheless, hey, they're going to put this into their soldiers first, the governmental officials, people that work inside the, you know, police departments and everything like that. You work for the government. Then they're going to roll it out to the regular citizens, man. All right. But how is it going to be put inside of you? It's going to be pricked inside of your body, man. Or you're going to be stuck with something that's going to be inserted inside of your body. All right. It says, stigma, going back to the word stizo, to stick or to prick, a mark incised or punched for recognition of ownership. All right, figuratively, a scar of service, a mark. So, hey, who are they gonna say you want? Who are they gonna say winds up owning you? All right, this is their government, man. And we see that they're, you know, trying to get the new world order, their one world government, and things like this pushed together so that they can come out with this RFID chip and get everybody into servitude with this thing, man. All right, let me read one more scripture real quick, because this is gonna be the judgment of those that take this here chip. In fact, actually, it's in another verse, but nevertheless, I can grab it. No, let me get it. This is Let me see. Oh, here it is right here. This is Revelation 16:2. It says, the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshiped the image. So, hey, look, man. You know, you get this here chip, man. You're going to want to be tormented and tortured with this thing, man. All right, and you can look up a video on YouTube. There was a video a long time ago of this so-called black woman who said that she was, she had a chip inserted inside of her. All right, she said it was like inside her vagina or something, or in that area, you know. She says that people can harass her with it, and she's walking around, they turn it on and give her like a burning sensation or whatever, whatnot, here and there, here and there. She's asked them to remove it. Nobody want to deal with it. She went to, like, when she's talking about this, she's in a court setting, presenting her case towards the court system, all right? So as you can see, this woman here, whether she willingly took this chip or she didn't willingly take this chip, nevertheless, you can see she's being tortured by this chip already. So let's go back to Revelation 14 real quick. We'll close out here. Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive a mark in his forehead. Now going into the image of this here beast, man. All right, this is they're going back into getting that complete dominance of the Roman Empire back again. You know, that one world government, that one world order, the new world order. All right, and then at the top of this, you got things like the UN, the World Health Organization. These super, you know, like you have the CDC here in America, right? But then you have a bigger situation in that, which is the WHO. World Health Organization. All right, you got the regular government here, the White House and Democrats, Republicans. You got all of that here in America, but then you got something bigger than that, the United Nations. You see, so this is like on a global scale. All right, and now they have like, oh, to comply with the CDC rules, we require everybody to come in the store to wear this here mask. Soon it's going to be for the UN to be in compliance with the UN and so on and so forth, because this is their implementation of this here New World Order system. And that's going into, if they didn't want to worship the image of the beast, you're not complying with the system, all right? Just like right now, if you want to have a job, let's say at the bank or the grocery store, and you want to come to work and not wear your damn mask, they're like, yo, you're not following protocol and the guidelines that's set forth from corporate, and corporate got those guidelines from the CDC, and the CDC got that from the World Health Organization and so on and so forth. So we got to abide by these things. If you don't want to abide by these things, then you can't partake in this here job, you know? So going back into that, it says Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in their forehead or in their hands, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angel, in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, as they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark in his name. All right, now it's kind of funny about this, you know, I have been seeing this from a long time ago, right? Because the RFID chip, they'll be able to track you with that. And I'm like, you know how funny that shit is? You get one of them damn chips, man. It's definitely, like, you ain't going to escape the missiles anyway. But it's definitely no way of escaping the missiles, because once they came out with that, was it the Satan 2? I think it was the Satan 2 missile, Satan 1 or the 2. Them things, they got like smart missiles from back in the days where they can like, well, they've been had guided missiles, you know, but you are the target that's locked on. No matter, you can start running from the shit and everything like that. They even got smart bullets, you know, but nevertheless, you got a damn tracking device on your ass, you know, that they could just pretty much put in your coordinations and it's locked on. So as far as you want to run or whatever, whatnot, hey, you ain't gonna be able to escape this here missile, man. All right, so as we read here in Revelation 14, how they're gonna be tormented in the damn, basically the lake of fire. All right, they're gonna be how does it say? It says they shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. All right, because ultimately when this thermonuclear missiles start raining down and things like that, man, ain't no escaping, man. They're going to be able to find out where there's humans at and people at, because why? You're going to pop up on radar, man. All right, just like how they can trace you and track you right now with your cell phone, try to find out where you at, because why? You got that GPS system always roaming on your phone. And even now, you can't even, all the phones are sealed to where you can't take your batteries out the phone, you know? So if you turn your phone off, that, how do you say, the GPS and the tracking system is still working inside of that thing, man. They can still pick you up at any point in time, man. All right, so there's no escaping that. And, you know, there's no getting out of this, man. All right, but nevertheless, as you can see how they're setting this here thing up, you know, in the midst of COVID and everything like that, you know, setting up the 5G systems and everything like that, and having to track people real time, track tracing and whatever it's called, act or whatever, whatnot, you know, for the COVID tracing. All right, all these things are being set up, but then it's going to be too much of a mess. Like they like to pull out order out of chaos, man. All right, because the problem, reaction, solution. You got all these cards, all these tracking and tracing and seeing who's safe and who's not safe and everything like this, and that. All right, now all of a sudden we're going to just combine all this information real time into one chip. You know, we're going to insert this inside your body. Nobody can't hack it, can't get inside of it. You're not going to lose it. You're not going to forget it at home. And you don't have to carry around all this here junk no more. You can just go wherever you want to go freely and whatever, whatnot, man. All right, and that's going to be a so-called luxury. And when they say peace and safety, hey, this is how we got out of this torment and turmoil of not knowing who has COVID and this is that, who's safe and who's not safe, man. Because like now they have some of these apps now to tell you where there's a COVID hotspot. There's people in your area that's testing for COVID or whatever, whatnot, man. Hey, that's what they plan to do. That's the way they're going to plan to so-called scare you into getting into this thing where you're going to beg for, all shit, we need to, before I send my kids out the house, they better have this damn chip so I know who they're going to be around, whether they got the COVID or not. This is how they try to push the chip the first time. What happens if your kid gets kidnapped or whatever, whatnot, you can recover them, or you lose your pet. You can recover your pet if you have this RFID chip, man. But we're not, blind to these things, man. We know that the RFID chip is right there at the doorstep, man. So how much more salvation, all right? So I'm going to close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And citation, much love for your icon, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong, shalom.